Hi, I'm Dr. Lynn Michael, and I'm here to talk to you today about the product, the Methylation Synergy Supreme. One of the first products we brought on, in particular because I thought it was so important and sort of critical for our body's health. And what is methylation? So, methyl group is a carbon with three hydrogens, and these carbon hydrogen molecules interact in methylation reactions. And methylation is important because it has to do with turning on and off gene expression. And genes are responsible for creating proteins that and enzymes, or proteins that are enzymes, to initiate almost all biochemical processes in the body. The proteins help build our structures, they make our neurotransmitters, they build and repair all the organelles. So it's, crucially important for our health. So this product in particular, the Methylation Synergy Supreme, was designed for people who are finding they have elevated homocysteine. And this elevation of homocysteine is because they're insufficient in a methylated folic acid. In fact, the genetic deficiency is in a person's ability to make an enzyme, MTHFR, or methylated tetrahydrofolate reductase. So if people are genetically unable to make that enzyme, they can't convert folic acid to 5-MTHF, or the methylated folic acid. So this deficiency then interacts with this pathway of converting homocysteine to methionine, and as a result, with insufficient 5-MTHF, the homocysteine becomes elevated. This is important because elevated homocysteine has a negative impact on the cardiovascular lining. It's irritating, it can initiate inflammation, and when the cardiovascular lining becomes irritated, the body lays down cholesterol to repair that. With too much inflammation, or the immune system playing havoc, or unhealthy cholesterol, that laying down of cholesterol to repair can eventually form plaque, atherosclerosis, which then both lead to cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, strokes, etc. So this genetic deficiency in the expression of the reductase enzyme to create 5-MTHF is variable. Some people can do it a little bit, some people can't do very much. So what we find is your elevation of homocysteine can be related to how that genetic breakdown is happening, or how much that genetic breakdown is happening. There are other cofactors that are involved in these pathways of creating methionine, and they include B12, B6, zinc, for example. That product has all of those cofactors. So for this particular biochemical reaction involved with homocysteine, this product is ideal. When I test people for their homocysteine, it's probably because they have high cholesterol, they might have hypertension, their LDL and triglycerides are in an unhealthy range. So there's some indication that their cholesterol isn't healthy. So then we want to see, is there inflammation on the arterial lining? What could be contributing to that? So one thing I might test in a cardiovascular screen is the homocysteine. If they're in the mildly high range, or just the high end of normal, that would be like a 7 to 10 range, then I don't often jump to the conclusion they're not methylating, but I might think they're getting low in some of those cofactors like zinc or B12, B2 or B6. And sometimes just adding zinc or something like that will bring that homocysteine down a little bit. But if they're over 10, kind of out of range on a lab, for the homocysteine, or even really high, like I had one lady at 200. Adding the 5-MTHF, that methylated folic acid, almost invariably brings the homocysteine back to normal. So it's not a direct test of methylation, but an indirect test. Yes, adding the methylated folic acid does improve it. So you can sort of concur then that the genetic breakdown is happening there and creating that enzyme. They're not making that usable form of folic acid. So Methylation reactions in the homocysteine pathway are important, but they're happening everywhere in the body. They're happening in expression of so many other proteins and enzymes that they're, this genetic inability to methylate now we're seeing is impacting brain health, dementia, mood. It's linked to learning disorders, to anxiety. It's linked to inability to get pregnant, infertility problems, and breakdown in the immune system. So this product has a lot of those cofactors that are used. Not all of those pathways require folic acid, but many of them do. Again, B12 and folic acid regulate cell development, so we're seeing that they're involved in so many areas of the body. One of the things I really am interested in is the science of epigenetics, and this has a direct link to methylation, because we're talking about gene expression and how methylation is involved. But the epigenes are the DNA material around the genes that 20 years ago they kind of discarded. Nobody really knew what they did. I was even told they don't do anything. But I think nature is probably wiser than that. We're finding out now that these methylation reactions offered, these methyl groups offered by the genetic material sitting next to the gene, actually initiates gene expression. So the gene is actually being promoted by the methyl groups that the epigenes offer up. So why would we start seeing a breakdown in the methylation reactions? One of my theories, I haven't really read this, but one of my theories is that these methyl groups actually come from plant food, fruits and vegetables. And we've got multiple generations of people eating processed food. As a naturopath, one of the foundations of the way I treat people is to start improving their diet so they have the basic substrate, the substances they need in their body to build and repair. So without eating fruits and vegetables, and how many people do you know? I'll ask patients all the time, how many vegetables do you get in a day? Oh, I don't really like vegetables. They might say they eat green beans and corn, which basically are grain and legumes. They don't eat vegetables. Kids, how many parents do ask about their kids' diet? Oh, they don't really like vegetables. And I'm like, that's exactly the food we need. It was designed there to make us healthy and to activate our genes. So that's really a breakdown. But one thing we found is that genes take hundreds of years to evolve or to mutate. They don't change very fast. But epigenetic influence is almost immediate. So if you've got a genetic, a propensity for diabetes or heart disease, that means maybe both parents had it or one parent had it. You're not really inheriting their gene, you're inheriting the epigenetic expression. So, you came from a mom whose diet was marginal, and now you're a young child or a young adult, and your epigenetics aren't set very well to express those genes in a healthy way until you start giving your body the food it needs to improve that epigenetic expression, those carbon and hydrogen molecules, all those minerals, all those B vitamins. So it's pretty hopeful for me as a naturopath that we can directly influence our genes and have some pretty significant influence on our health just by our diet and nutrition alone. Another reason I'm excited about promoting our products. Another thing that's really interesting about epigenetics is that they're also influenced by energy, our mood, the biochemicals that we create when we're happy, endorphins, when we're exercising. They're influenced by energy that you're in, they're influenced by sunshine, by being calm, regulating your autonomic nervous system. All influence that epigenetic influence on gene expression in a really positive way. So there's a lot of hope that we can influence our body and have, a great ability to rebuild, repair, and find that vitality and health that we're looking for. And if you're watching this video, you're one of those people that are learning. And so give yourself credit for that you're taking your health in your own hands and trying to participate. One other thing about this product in particular, even though it's designed for that optimal expression of homocysteine and cardiovascular health, is that these vitamins, nutrients, and this methylated folic acid are involved in so many other pathways of the body that they'll especially help with the nervous system, including the brain, all the brain disorders, mood disorders, anxiety, depression, memory, Alzheimer's, all are enhanced by optimal methylation reactions. Our immune system, fertility, all enhanced by methylation reactions. So if you want more information on this and want to see an article, you can check out our website and get that information in more detail. You can also find how to order our products on Amazon. And if you'd like further questions from me, my email and setting up a consult is an option. So thanks for listening, and to your good health.